Welcome back to Lori Talks About Random Shit. I'm actually not enraged at the moment. I'm, in my usual state of simmer, but tonight I want to talk a little bit about art and its role in society broadly, but in particular in a society that is, if not in free fall, in a state of collapse. Art is, by its very nature, meant to disrupt. I think that we, especially in the sort of Instagrammable art world, we often forget that our role and responsibility as artists is to challenge society, to force society to see what we see, to look as we look, to explore not only the unexplored, but to explore the uncomfortable, to remember what we've chosen to forget. I think that, so let me just back up. At the beginning of the pandemic, at the beginning of the quarantine, I filmed a series of absolutely enraged videos directed at fellow women artists. I was especially angry at the time about the ways in which white women suddenly recognized that Black women artists existed. I was enraged by the admission in their unwillingness to admit that they had not seen us before. I was enraged by the performance of anti-racism, but not anti-racism, right? I was enraged by the fact that it was performative and not constructive. I was even enraged by the very idea that these other women who have, been in collectives with me, who are in, similar circles, who know, right, who know my work, and who know me and know what my work is about and what my work is trying to do, that they would even have the privilege to leverage was enraging and continues to be, quite frankly, very, very disturbing. Now, I said that this was not an enraged video, and I plan to hold true to that. I'm not always the best at I'm not always the best at staying unenraged because I'm pretty much always angry. But that being said, I want to go back to this idea of art as disruption. I don't believe that we as creatives can continue to look at the world through the lens that we have, right? We're in an advantaged position vis-a-vis the rest of the world because we see things differently. But with great privilege comes great responsibility, to sort of paraphrase the Bible. When we think about what our job is, if we are not uncomfortable, we are doing it wrong. That doesn't mean that art can't be relaxing. That doesn't mean that we can't get pleasure. That doesn't mean that it can't be healing. But we also must do some hard and heavy lifting. We must. If we are not doing hard and heavy lifting, what the fuck are we doing? Because if we are not taking our craft and our unique way of viewing the world seriously, no wonder then are programs being defunded at the very most crucial moments when we need, when we desperately need to grow our creativity, to expand our practice of the arts. If we are not confronting social issues, and the reality is that everyone confronts social issues differently, right? You don't have to be creating work about the March on Washington in order to speak about civil rights through your work. You don't have to make a, bronze of hands up to comment on the police state. If you want to do that, that is fine, right? But it is creating the space for dialogue. It is taking the role, the research, the importance of the work, the importance of the artist seriously. All of that. That is absolutely necessary for artists to do the work that they have been called to do. I'm asking you, as creatives, as art lovers, as people who believe in a future, quite frankly, not even the future, a future, the possibility of possibilities. I am really and truly begging you to recognize the power that the arts have and to exploit that, to really and truly stretch your practice. If you're not a practicing artist, help someone else stretch their practice. We need to be making work. And not because we need it for our personal, our kind of personal passage, right? We need it because we as society, we need the arts in this moment. We need it. We cannot do without it. So if in some small way, just as you have been sponsoring, the elections and PACs and super PACs and, individual campaigns, support the arts. Go on Patreon right now and pledge $1, pledge $3, pledge, whatever it is, to an individual artist. Pledge money to an art collective. Go in your studio and deepen your practice, whatever it takes. We are in such desperate times. And we must learn to think critically, to think creatively, and to be solution focused. It seems to me that in a society in which there are so many problems and so many things that as they're happening, it's frankly unbelievable, right? Reality is itself too much. In a society such as this, it is absolutely critical that we take the time to acknowledge that people who are critiquing, people who are challenging, people who are questioning are invested. And I'm not talking about trolling. I'm not talking about posing a ridiculous argument and then when the counter argument is raised, basically changing the subject because there was no you're repeating or paraphrasing rhetoric. I'm talking about really working to change and challenge a system that is meant to serve us but is not serving us. I implore you, find where you fit and make this shit happen. We've talked about the vote. We've talked about all of the myriad insulting ways that politicians have approached or neglected the Black community. But in this moment, we as artists, as art collectors, as art lovers, must come together. We must make a way. There is no one else. I appreciate you listening. I hope that this means something to you, that you will, take the next step, whatever that looks like for you. Even if what that looks like is giving some thought to how much the arts enrich your personal life, just from a purely vain, faux deep level. How much does the arts challenge you to think differently, to even think critically? I mean, it really can't be overstated. The importance cannot be overstated.